for joining us. So we've seen the work the London Air Ambulance do, we've seen them training, we've seen them out on their work, but everything being done here is in order to save lives. So we caught up with somebody whose life was saved 2 years ago in extraordinary circumstances. He wanted to come back here to say thank you to the people who saved him. This very moving report is by our correspondent Sonia Jessup.
Happy birthday to you!
James Basco Smith celebrating with his family, but at the age of 17 his life changed forever. He was repeatedly stabbed outside his home. His heart stopped for almost an hour. But James did not die. He was saved by medics from London's Air Ambulance. 2 years on, he's come to the helipad to meet them.
It was scary times at first, just kind of thinking, oh my gosh, now there's no doctors, there's no nurses.
James's family had feared at first he would not survive. The situation at the scene looked desperate.
He had just gone into cardiac arrest about 2 minutes before we arrived, and when we arrived and had a look at him, his heart had already stopped beating.
And I just kept on saying to the police officer, I just want to hold his hand, I just want to hold his hand through this. And the officer said to me, they're working on him, his heart had stopped, and they're performing open heart surgery. And I'm just like, but don't you need to be in a hospital to do this?
It's a very aggressive form of resuscitation that we do. We had to give him all his blood back, so a big transfusion very quickly, open up his chest, and because the heart's not beating, we actually had to beat it ourselves by squeezing it.
You actually had your hands on his heart, basically?
Yeah, holding the heart in your two hands and squeezing it so that you can pump blood and oxygen around to all the organs of the body.
Well, sadly, knife crime is something that medics here are very familiar with. Around a third of the call-outs that the air ambulance deals with are to patients with stab or penetration wounds, and many of them are young people.
The view is good.
The view's good.
The devastating impact of knife crime is something James wants to raise awareness of. He suffered severe brain injuries. He needs constant care and support with communication. But he and his family wanted to thank the air ambulance team.
They didn't give up on James. You know, James was fighting to stay alive and they fought with him, and we are just immensely grateful.
We wouldn't be able to be continuing the life that we're living now with James. We would have had a different story. So yeah, absolutely, thank you.
Thank you for saving me and not giving up on me. I have a second chance at my life.
James Basco Smith there, and I know you're watching tonight, James, with your family. Let me tell you that the London Air Ambulance team were incredibly touched that you came here to say thank you to them, and we wish you all the very best as well.